Hello and welcome back to the Football Rundown. Hope everyone's doing well. This week, obviously, Stockport County, 5-0 win over MK Dons at the weekend. Not a bad result at all. I'll take that, any scrappy 5-0. No, I thought we played absolutely fantastic on the day. I thought that MK Dons came to play, a good brand of football. And, I think ultimately County capitalised on the mistakes that can be made when sometimes trying to play expansive football. And I think, it's a really good win for County. An impressive win, obviously racking up the goals as well. A little bit of a frustration, I suppose, that we weren't able to do that against the teams like Salford and Crawley, which I felt that, you've got to be winning them kind of games really as well. But obviously, when you score 5 goals, you've got to give credit to the team, and they were fantastic on Saturday. But we're looking slightly ahead now, and we're looking to Friday, Good Friday, where we'll travel to Forest Green Rovers, the New Lawns Stadium, I think it's called. And I've never been there before. I will be going there. I've just been to pick up my tickets today from Edgeley Park, which has been a bit chaotic with tickets, actually, this week. Don't want to moan too much, but obviously the Wrexham tickets sold out. Question marks whether or not they were sold properly in the first place. And then, of course, we had a bit of an issue getting hold of the Accrington tickets for the final home game of the season today as well. A lot of chaos, a lot of kicking off, a lot of people frustrated, and quite rightly so. But it has been fixed, and I have been able to get my tickets. I feel sorry for those that haven't though, because there are people who have waited to get hold of them tickets. Then obviously County have had the error that's come up where people haven't been able to get them straight away. Maybe they've not been able to go and get them tickets now, so that's disappointing for them. And I do feel sorry for those people who weren't able to get the tickets when they could have got them. When the tickets were supposed to be available in the first place. I also feel sorry for those that have missed out on Wrexham tickets for the final game of the season, because I don't think it's been done properly. My understanding is that it was meant to be for people who've been to 15 away games or more who are season ticket holders. Then it was meant to be for people that are season ticket holders that have been to 10 or more away games. And my understanding is that people that have had accounts that have got multiple season tickets on, as long as one of them season tickets has been to 15 games or more, then it doesn't matter how many of the other season tickets have been to on that account, and therefore that's how they manage to get tickets. That's my understanding of how it's worked out. And if that's the case, then I think that's completely unfair, and it's completely against how they said they were going to do it. So, disappointed about that, and I think some people are frustrated about that, and quite rightly so. But obviously, if you are going to Wrexham on the final game of the season, good luck to you. I hope it's a memorable day. I'm sure it will be, one way or the other. And look, I mean, if I was going, I'd be absolutely buzzing. So good luck to those, and as I say, hopefully it's a good day. Obviously, for those who are not watching it, who are not going to the game, I will probably try and do something on the channel if people are interested. I'll have to see. It depends on whether or not Sky are going to show it and things like that, which we'll find out nearer the time. But today, let's talk about Forest Green Rovers then, of course, sat bottom of League 2 at the moment. On the face of it, it looks like an easy game. But as we found out with Mansfield on Saturday, drawing to Colchester in the bottom of the table, there's no such thing as an easy game in League 2. There's easier games, but there's no easy games. And I think this game could be a difficult game for County. We're on the back of a 5-0 win, but playing bottom of the table, the confidence is going to be high, and maybe people may be getting complacent. I'm saying maybe because I'm hopefully that isn't the case, but it's potentially the case. And as I say, I think that's something that we have to be very wary of, is complacency. Because even at the bottom of the table, they can get results. I think they've recently drawn with Wrexham as well over the last few months as well. So we know Wrexham are a top side in League 2. So they can get results, and they could make it difficult for us. And I'm not saying they're necessarily going to beat us, but even forcing us to drop 2 points in a draw would be devastating blow to our title chances. So what can I tell you now about Forest Green Rovers? I'm sure a lot of you know already. As I say, currently sat bottom of League 2 on level points with Sutton, who we face, I think, next Saturday. League's lowest scorers as well. They've scored just 38 goals this season in League 2. They've had 3 separate managers this season. Steve Cottrell is the current manager, and he's helped the Forest Green Rovers to 14 points of those 33 points that they have so far this season. Troy Deeney, of course, had 3 draws in his short tenure in charge of Forest Green Rovers. 3 draws, and I think it was 3 defeats, so just 3 points from his reign in charge of Forest Green Rovers. And of course, Horseman, I think, was it David Horseman or Daniel Horseman? I'm going to go with David Horseman, who started the campaign with Forest Green Rovers. He achieved 15 points with the Green Rovers. So, of course, if Steve Cottrell stays in charge, which I'm assuming he will do to the end of the season, it's quite likely he'll come out with the most points than any other manager that's managed them this season, which I suppose doesn't mean much when it looks like they probably will be relegated, but I suppose he can say that he's done the best he can, and I do think results have picked up a little bit since he came in to replace Troy Deeney. Not that they say Troy Deeney is a terrible manager, I think he inherited a terrible situation, and I think it's never good to judge Troy Deeney with it being his first job in management. This has clearly been a tricky job this season, and last season as well, of course, because they were relegated in their first season in League One. So just a bit of background about Forest Green Rovers for those who don't know. I'm assuming most people do, and I'm assuming I'm probably not going to tell you anything that you don't know already here, but they're of course owned by British green energy industrialist Dale Vince. Vince took control of Forest Green Rovers in 2010. During his time, he's put an eco-friendly stamp on the club. This has led to Forest Green being recognised as the world's first all-vegan football club. In order to achieve this, they've done things such as banning players from eating red meat and even banning the sale of meat at the club's ground, just to name a few. So if you want to go to Forest Green Rovers and you want to eat, a pie or sausage roll, absolutely no chance that's going to happen. You're probably going to have to try and sneak one in if you're planning on it, because they do not sell it. And as I say, they even forced their players to stop eating red meat. I believe this was back in 2011 as well, so pretty early on in his time in charge of the football club. I think they put it down to health reasons. But yeah, that's basically the case. They have no meat at Forest Green Rovers, which is surprising given the managers they've had in recent times. I mean, Troy Deeney's managed them and he played for him. You'd imagine he looks like a meat eater, to be honest. Then, of course, you've got Duncan Ferguson, who was there last season. I can't imagine him not eating meat. These are stereotypes here, but they look like men that would eat meat, and they're the kind of people they've had in charge of the football club recently. So I'd be massively surprised if they didn't eat meat, to be honest. They don't allow meat. So if anyone's planning on going on Friday, make sure you have your lunch before you go in, because I can't imagine there's going to be a great deal on offer whilst you're at the ground. Yeah, so they've had a fair share of success during this time. It's not been all doom and gloom. So I'd say a bit of success along the way. Reaching the Football League for the first time in the 17-18 season. They've gone to have a few seasons challenging in League 2 before being promoted as champions in the 21-22 season. Of course, Stockport County secured promotion to League 2 that season when we won the National League, whilst Forest Green were winning League 2, where they would go up to League 1. They would have just one season in League 1 though. Obviously they finished bottom of the table last season, returning to League 2 this season, and it looks set to be another season of relegation. This would be the first time in the club's history that they faced back-to-back relegations. Of course, they haven't been in the professional tiers of football before, so I think something like relegation's fairly new to them, and they've been a fairly mid-table club in the lower leagues, I think, in the history of the football club. Correct me if I'm wrong. So relegation and back-to-back relegations would be a relatively new thing for this football club. With 24th place to 21st place separated by just 6 points as well, it will be an interesting last few match days at the bottom of League 2. I think that's fair to say. So we spoke about Forest Green Rovers then. Let's talk about Stockport County, of course, second in the table and fighting for that title. I know a lot of people are just happy if we get promoted this season, but I'm certainly looking at the title, and I think some other people are as well. And I think that the opportunity to potentially claim that title at the racecourse ground on the final day of the season, that's very appealing, especially if Wrexham drop out of the automatics, which potentially could happen if results pan out that way. And I think, as I say, I think County have got a really good opportunity to win the title, and I think it's a very, very good chance it will be won at the racecourse on the final game of the season. So to those fans that have got tickets for that final game of the season, I think it's going to be a very, very special day. I think that's for sure. I think that's pretty much guaranteed. But yeah, as I say, second place in League 2 after Saturday's 5-0 win over MK Dons. They've now scored 75 goals in League 2 this season. Only Notts County with 76 and Mansfield, who've scored 79, have scored more than the Hatters this season. County are currently sat 2 points off Mansfield with a game in hand, while Wrexham, who are third place, are a point behind County with a game played more. County will be hoping to be crowned champions, of course, this season after being top for most of the season, although in recent months the results have slipped. 82 points is currently the lowest amount ever achieved by a League 2 Championship winning side since 2004. That was Cheltenham Town, who were crowned League 2 champions in the 2021 season, and if County were to match that record low number of points as champions, then they need just 11 more points from a possible 24 points that's up for grabs this season. And at this point in the video, I think it's fair. I think people will be wanting my opinion on this. I am now going to predict, as of now, with a few games left to go in the season, I'm going to predict my final day predictions from 1st to 7th. So in first place, in fact, I'm not going to start in first place. I'm going to start in 7th place. I'm going to go with Crawley Town. I think they're currently 7th, and I can't really see too much in it at the moment. 7th place, I'm not that strong on that opinion twice. That could chop and change very easily for me. But then with 6th place, I've gone with Crewe. I think they'll finish 6th. I think they'll be inside the playoffs. I think they'll miss out on the automatics, to be honest. Then in 5th place, I've gone with Barrow. I think it'd be their highest ever finish in League 2, and I think it'd be the first time they've been in the playoffs as well, potentially. I think my knowledge could be wrong on that, but I think I've heard that right. So I think they'll finish 5th in League 2 this season with a playoff spot to play for. And then, of course, 4th place, I've gone with Wrexham. Hold my hands up. Look, I could be completely wrong on this, but I think on the final game of the season, we're going to be going for a title. Wrexham are going to be trying to stay in the automatics, and I think that Wrexham will drop out of the automatics. I suppose that kind of gives away what I think the result could be on the final day here. But in 3rd place, I go with MK Dons, who I think will creep into the automatic spots. I know they lost 5-0 to Stockport County on Saturday, but I think they've got the quality. I think they are a team that will get points from now until the end of the season. I think they'll get enough points to be in the automatic, so I think MK Dons go straight back up to League 1, having been relegated last season. Then in 2nd place, I've gone with Mansfield Town. I think they're going to bottle it. I think that Stockport County will be crowned champions of League 2. That might be a little bit hard overhead, but I'm going to go with that. I think that Mansfield, as strong as they've been this season, I think County will just turn it on near the end of the season. I think they'll hit that form that they need to. I think we've done that before in years gone by where we're chasing titles, and I think we'll do it again. I think Stockport County will finish the season strongly, and I think we will go up as League 2 champions. Fingers crossed. You can see I'm clearly very optimistic about County's chances of claiming the League 2 title this season. I've always been consistent in saying that I think County will win the league this season. Even as far back as my League 2 predictions video before ball was kicked this season, I was very confident that County would be in this position, and I'm hoping that will be the case. So optimism is there, but what's the optimism like ahead of Friday's game on Good Friday against Forest Green Rovers? Well, let's have a look at the head-to-head record between the two sides previously. Of course, Stockport County got the 2-0 win over Forest Green Rovers at Edgeley Park back in October, winning 2-0 with goals from Sarcevic and Tanto Alafi. So Forest Green Rovers have got 2 wins over Stockport County. They go from the 2011-12 season and the 2012-13 season. The latter was a 4-1 defeat for Stockport County to have to deal with against Forest Green Rovers. Forest Green Rovers come into this game having won 2 of their last 5 league games, while Stockport also go into this having won just 2 of their last 5 league games. However, the difference is Stockport County have drawn 3 of the other games within that time, whereas Forest Green Rovers have lost all the other 3 of the last 5 fixtures. So I'm fairly optimistic that Stockport County can get a good result against Forest Green as long as we avoid complacency. And I suppose the exciting news, is going to be the team news, which Dave Chandler spoke about after the game on Saturday. And of course, he will speak to Stockport County before the game on Friday, where he will confirm what players will be available for the game. But we had a little bit of an insight post-match on Saturday about who may be available for Stockport County come Friday. Team news is that Sarcevic will possibly be back. He said, fingers crossed he'll be back available for Stockport County on Friday. Louis Barry, when he was asked about him, interesting response. He said he won't play, but he'll be back in the building. So Louis Barry will be back with the team on Friday. He won't be able to play, but he's nearing that return, I suppose, to the first team for County, and I can't wait to see him back in a County shirt. Sounds like Friday will be too soon for him, but he will be back playing and training, I suppose, with County over the next week, and maybe possibly on Monday. I'd certainly think maybe by next Saturday, where we play Sutton, I think he'll be available for that kind of game. So it's looking for, it's exciting news. I'm excited to have Louis Barry back. Well, we've obviously missed him for a very long time. He obviously brought a lot of excitement and joy early on in his time, but got injured very early on as well. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of a player we have back in Louis Barry when he returns to the County lineup. But I think that Friday will be far too soon. But the positive news is he's back in the building, so he can't be too far away now from being available for selection. And then, of course, he was asked about Kyle Noyle as well, and he was asked about whether or not he'll be back available for the game on Friday, and he said he'll possibly be available to come back as well. So potentially Sarcevic back in the side, Noyle back in the side potentially, Louis Barry not far away from returning to the side as well. Be interesting to maybe find out a little bit more as to what's happening with Ackle Wright as well, whether or not he'll be back involved in the squad over the next few games, because we're going to need our better players back, especially if we're going to go on that mad sort of end the season run, which I'm predicting and anticipating us to have. So I'm very much looking forward to the potential return of Louis Barry at some point over the next week or so. But obviously Sarcevic is going to come back in. Obviously scored against Forest Green in the fixture in the last meeting. He could be important in this game as well. Obviously a miss on Saturday, but not that much of a miss, because Nick Powell came back into the side. And of course, we won the game 5-0. Nick Powell should be available as well. Obviously, it looks like he may have had a bit of a knock when he came off, but he seems to be okay. We'll find out more about that when we hear from Challoner, I think tomorrow. So possibly Noyle back as well, which could be a decent option. Obviously, Todd Kane's done well at right back, but with Noyle back available as well, it just strengthens up that right hand side, which has looked a bit weak since obviously the injuries to Southern Hales and Noyle back in December, January kind of time. So looking forward to obviously the game on Friday. We will have the match day vlog out on Friday as well, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, I want to get your thoughts ahead of this game. I want to get your thoughts ahead of this title running. Who do you think is going to win the title? Do you think Stockport County will go up as champions? Who do you think creeps into that automatic spots? And who do you think drops out? And who do you think will be in the playoffs? I want to get all your thoughts ahead of the game against Forest Green Rovers on Friday. You go into the game, let me know your thoughts on that as well. Let me know your thoughts on the ticket frustrations as well that's taken place over the last week or so. Let me know all your frustrations. Let me know all your opinions on Stockport County. I hope you're all doing really, really well as well. And obviously, hopefully, Stockport County can grab 3 points on Friday. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win for Stockport County. Let's try and get this win. Let's try and get ourselves back into top spot. Let's try and win this title. Let's try and go up as champions this season. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like the video, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay tuned for the matchday vlog on Friday. See you guys next time.